Hello, 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 everyone. It's me, it's your girl, Sia Knight. I am the mobile notary mentor, and I am here to continue with the series, which is called 22 Tips for New Notaries. And I'm here just to give some quick tips on how to start or continue a successful mobile or remote online notary business. So this is part 3. And again, I didn't want to give all 22 in one video. I wanted to give it in kind of like smaller chunks. And I don't want to overwhelm anyone with this information, but I do want to kind of just give you something to think about, some tidbits, some knowledge nuggets. Okay, that didn't sound really good. But anyway, but what I wanted to do was to I gave you in the first one 5 tips. I gave you in the second video 5 more. And I'm going to give you 5 more tips in this particular video. And these are the things that I have come across being the mobile notary mentor, having a very successful new notary mastermind class that lasted, it was supposed to last 6 sessions. It lasted like 9 months. And also as the instructor and the founder of the New Notary Workshop. So these are things that I've come across. So I'm just going to kind of briefly go over them. I go over them in depth in the New Notary Workshop, which we're having our next one, January 22nd, 2022. If you see this before then, if not, check the links to see if there's another video that's another workshop that's coming up in your time. Okay, that sounds kind of spooky to say it that way. Look at that, and look at this, and now we're all grainy. Okay, here we go. All right, so the next 3 things I want to tell you, the next 3 tips that I want to tell you if you're a new or newer notary is make sure that you're aware of all of the associated opportunities that come with being a notary. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, I got 4 of them. Okay, so the first one is being a wedding officiant. And in some states, if you're a notary, that qualifies you for being a wedding officiant in that particular state as well. And I know that there are some people who make a nice living or as a good side hustle, at least going out, marrying people. It's a nice weekend gig. It's 2 or 3 hours, and you can charge whatever the going rate is. So in my state, I'm in Virginia. Unfortunately, it's not as seamless as a process to do it here, but in some states, it is a seamless process. So if you're interested, looking to being a wedding officiant. The second thing, which I am not interested in at all, but I do have a friend, and she and I talk about this, process server. So that's the person who comes and lets you know that you have a court date that's coming up, and they will serve you those court papers. Now, it's not always kind of so traumatic every time someone is served with papers, but I would venture to say it's almost never a happy occasion. So I tend to not really want to dig into that line of work, but in some people and in some cases and for enough money, they have really looked into process serving as being a real steady stream of income. The next thing, so the third on this list, okay, so number 13 overall out of the 22 tips for new notaries in 2022, fingerprinting. So if you think about all of the people who have to be fingerprinted, not just the people who are going to jail for one reason or another, I'm not judging, but if you are going to apply for a job, it has a background check element, and you have to have your fingerprints done. Some people don't like going to the police station and like to stay away from the police station as much as possible. So there are some folks who have businesses in which they have fingerprinting as part of their array of offerings. And in some cases, it's kind of like the paper and the ink. And some people often do also the electronic fingerprinting, which I understand those machines are quite expensive, but some people rent them. It's a whole thing. So I'm not going to give you all the ins and outs of the fingerprinting business, but just know that's one of the kind of the parallel kind of businesses that people take on as they've become notaries. Okay. The fourth thing or related opportunity that I want to talk a little bit about are inspections. Now, again, this is one thing that I've not really had a lot of personal experience with, but I watch a lot of YouTube like you do. And I do know that there's some people who kind of tout the whole idea of, oh, I go out and I go to a particular place and they give me a list of things to look for at this particular place. And they do an inspection and then they get paid a very good rate for doing this inspection. So that's something, if you're interested in some related opportunities as a notary, you can look into. Oh, my camera's blurry again. All right, I got one more to get through. The last thing I want to say in this video, so this is number 15, the number 15 tip when it comes to being a new notary. Make sure that you have the proper startup supplies. Let me make sure. All right, the proper supplies, okay? Make sure you have nice pens and pens you like, okay? Make sure you have business cards. And in my class, I talk about a time and money saving hack in getting nice business cards. And I print them myself, but that's a whole other thing. Okay. Make sure you have your journal, whether or not your state requires you to have a journal. It's still a good idea to go ahead and have a notary journal. Make sure that you have your stamp. Of course, that's what makes you a notary. Your stamp makes things official. Then also, here's another quick tip. Know your state's rules on having a stamp versus an embosser. Because I would say occasionally people will ask me when I'm coming out to do a mobile signing, and especially if it's something that's kind of really official, like a will or something of that nature, I have a stamp only. Actually, I do have an embosser as well, but I don't use it because where I am, they are very clear about whatever method you use, it has to be able to be reproduced. And we mean like by somebody who's supposed to be reproducing it, not like some shady person. So I have an embosser, but my embosser does not have ink. So if I had an ink embosser, then I would use it and it would be fine, but I don't. So I just stamp is just as good as an embosser, but know the rules and regulations for your particular state. So the stamp, make sure you have that. And the last thing I want to kind of put on your radar is make sure you have a good notary bag. And I will say that out of all the things, I'm just looking just to make sure on my list, out of all the supplies that I named, I got all of my stuff from Amazon. It just, sorry, Jeff Bezos, he's taken over the world. That's just what's going on. And so if you look hard enough, you should be able to find any and everything that you need to get started for your startup supplies on Amazon. So that's it. Those are the next 5 tips that I'm giving you out of the 22 tips for new notaries in 2022. If you want to dig in deep, if you want more information, more knowledge about all of the things that I'm talking about in this video series, come join us for the New Notary Workshop. The information is in the link below and also I think up here somewhere if I did this correctly. So until next time, everybody, happy stamping. Bye.